Hi guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good week this last week learning about behaviorism. I know that's got some tricky vocab in it, so I hope everything went well for you, especially with regard to things like positive versus negative reinforcement, and recognizing that both of those are used to increase behavior, and they have nothing to do with whether the behavior is good or bad. So those words positive and negative don't mean good or bad, they just mean give or take away. So those are the concepts to really be careful with in that particular lesson. If you're still struggling with those, go back and review. Look at the resources I've provided in the module. There's some exercises there and explanations to help you. And of course, you're always welcome to come in and ask any questions you might have. This week, we are focusing in on writing traditional tests. That's a big form of assessment that we use in behaviorism because it allows students to use a behavior, which is answering questions on tests, to demonstrate what they have and have not learned. So this is a piece of evidence that we would gather about their learning. It's really difficult to write a really good test. I'm sure you've taken your share of really crummy tests in the past. Speaking of which, I'm sorry about the debacle that was this group test. I'll rethink that for future semesters, so I appreciate your feedback. At any rate, you're going to be writing your own test. It needs to have a matching exercise, 2 short answer questions, 3 multiple choice questions that measure higher than factual recall, 1 essay question. And really be careful about the developmental level of your students on that, as well as providing sufficient structure and guidelines so that they know what to write about. And then the last part of your test that you need to have is what's called a context-dependent item set, and that can be overlapped with any other type of question. My advice to you, and it's not even advice, it's going to be a requirement, is that you use the materials in Lesson 8 to create your test. I can really tell if you don't use those materials because most of us kind of assume we know how to write good test questions, and so we go in and just kind of write them using our gut feelings, and there are actually a lot of things to consider, particularly with regard to the brain and anxiety, that we have to be aware of when we write tests and when we write the instructions for the items. So please use the resources in Lesson 8 to help you through writing that test. Now, because that's the only thing that's required this week is writing that paper and pencil test, it would be a great idea to maybe get caught up if you didn't quite finish Lesson 8, or even to get started, if you didn't finish Lesson 7, or even to get started on Lesson 9 this week. This is a nice kind of buffer week right in the middle here, so do what you need to do as far as getting caught up or whatever it may be. I've tried to go through, I've given feedback on the self-assessment, I've given feedback on any FRJ drafts that I got last week, so if you have any more FRJ drafts you want to submit, go ahead and put those in that FRJ draft assignment. And I'm going to be working furiously on getting you feedback on the rest of those assessment inventory items so that you can revise those if you want to. You don't have to revise them, but you're welcome to do so. Just an FYI, I will be out of town this Thursday through the following Monday. So if you need me to answer questions or anything in that time period, then you can reach me via email. All right, I think that's it for this week. Again, our focus is on getting that traditional test written, catching up if that's needed for you, and then you could, if you wanted to, kind of sneak a look into Lesson 9, get started on that. So good luck, everyone, and again, my door's always open. Thanks.